It's Ethan's.com.
This is a homeowner tip from eFinch. Let's change the oil and get that push mower ready for spring. Once you pull your lawnmower out of the garage in the spring, the best thing to do is start with a good cleaning. Dust and dirt can hurt all of the grease points, bearings, belts, causing harm. Next, use a jack or something solid to prop the front of the lawnmower deck up. You're going to need to get underneath and do some work. This is the underbelly of the beast. It's where we're going to be doing most of our work today. You want to start by cleaning out all of the dust and grime that is caked under this deck. It should have been done in the fall, but in the tough world of lawnmower maintenance, the spring is no time for finger pointing. Now that you're ready to start working on the blade, remember to disconnect the spark plug wire. Removing the blade is actually pretty easy, but it also can be dangerous, so be careful. I prefer using my impact gun, but you can also use a ratchet or a wrench. While loosening the bolt, hold the blade in place. Remember, you can even use a rag or something to protect your hands. A little pro tip, take pictures in order to remember the order in which you disassembled everything, because you're going to have to put it back together, and this can be very helpful. Next, you want to remove the plastic cover that protects the belt and drive of the push mower. On my specific model, there are 2 bolts that hold it in place. Underneath of that first cover, there's usually the housing. There are more bolts to get undone. Depending on your push mower model, there could be anywhere from 3 to 6 bolts holding this in place. What you need to do is keep digging in until you get to the bottom of the mower deck. More debris and junk. Make sure that you stop and clean every step along the way. Once you have all of the shields off, you'll be able to access the oil drain plug and also the belts to inspect and make sure that things are running properly. I want to show you something. The belt had to go through all of this grass debris. This is something that can certainly prematurely wear out a belt, and you need to get in there and get all of the dust out. I think this image alone really shows why it's important at least 2 or 3 times a year to get underneath your mower and make sure that everything is running properly. This could cause a lot of damage. I actually broke out the shop vac. I wanted to make sure to get all of the dust and dirt out of this area. It's that important. When you're done, it needs to be fairly clean. I mean, you're not going to eat out of this thing, but it's important to have it relatively dust-free. Now we're ready to actually change the oil. First, you have to drain the oil from the engine. You'll find the drain plug next to the shaft. Now listen, I'm using an impact gun, and I highly recommend that you do not do the same. It can be pretty tricky, and you don't want to over-tighten this bolt. Once it is loose, the oil will drain down. Make sure you have a tray underneath to catch the spare oil. Allow this to drain for about 5 minutes. You want to make sure to get all of the used oil and residue out of the engine. Once all of the oil is drained out, replace the plug. You want to put it in its slot and then hand tighten it. Use the wrench only for the last little bit. It is so important. You don't want to cross thread this bolt. We're pretty much done with working underneath the deck, so it's time to put everything back together. I took advantage of the time and actually had my blades sharpened. Doing this at least twice per year is going to have a huge impact and make my mowing job look a lot cleaner and neater. Let's put the blades back on, remembering the order that everything went into, and then we'll go to the top of the engine. Go to your local hardware or lawnmower repair shop. Make sure you get the proper weighted oil for the climate that you're located within. You want to have a rag handy, and you also want to refer to your owner's manual. Make sure you do not put too much oil in, as that can have just as much damage on the engine as putting too little. And then fill her up. Make sure to check the level of oil periodically as you're pouring. You're almost ready. Fill it up with fresh fuel. Now you're ready to go. Let her rip. Let it run for a few minutes to get the oil circulated through the engine, and then you can mow into the sunset. Remember, you should also change or clean the air filter, change your spark plug at least once per year, and also grease annually. Thank you.
It's eFins.com.